week, we're continuing to talk about how our American kids are adjusting to life in Germany. And this is part 2, the part about school and how they're doing in German schools. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah.
Hey.
And this is...
I'm Kevin.
And we are a family of 6 with 4 children.
And a cat.
And a cat, yes. And we moved our family from the U.S. to Germany in February of 2021 for a new adventure, to be able to travel and show our kids more of the world and to be able to do that traveling more cheaply since we won't be flying back and forth across the world. And yeah, just to sort of change things up a little and follow our dreams. So we have now been here in Germany for 2 months, so we thought we'd share with you some things about their school experience because we get lots of comments about how are your kids doing in school. We want a school update.
Right.
And we're not even sure we have a great video to share with you today, but we're going to just share with you what our experience has been.
I mean, with 2 months of COVID is, it's just...
Yeah, our school experience has just not been what it would be without COVID, right?
Sure. Kids are definitely not getting the same immersion they would have gotten otherwise.
Yeah. So before we came here though, you could decide between international schools and there's also Montessori schools even here. But of course the Montessori and the international schools are both private. The international schools here are really expensive per child. I've been told they're anywhere from $11,000 to $15,000 per kid per year. That's just not in our budget with 4 kids. We can't do that.
Right.
Those schools are also in the bigger cities. And we live out in the countryside, so...
Not even sure where the closest one is.
Yeah, it's far.
Although there are some Montessori schools not too far.
There are Montessori schools close by. Now, those aren't crazy expensive. We actually could afford one of those. But anyway, we decided to put our kids into...
Yeah. We want them to go to school where all the neighbor kids are going,
Yeah, like we moved to Germany to experience German life.
Right.
To immerse ourselves into Germany and to learn German and learn German culture. So it didn't make sense for us to put our kids in international school because we're not here on a short-term assignment.
Right.
So yeah, so our kids are in the regular German public schools, full immersion, all in German.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, talk about a tough transition at first.
Sure.
It was. And it has been hard.
Well, even for the youngest going to kindergarten, it was hard. It's all fun and play and all that, but it's just so much German and can't communicate. Yeah, it's hard.
Even our 4-year-old gets overwhelmed in kindergarten with all of the German that she hears. She says it sounds like noise, and she just wants to leave some days because it's a lot to take in. And that's okay. We're just going slowly and going at her pace.
And it just took her some time, to realize, well, she can say stuff in English. And half the time when kids talk, is there all that much meaningful communication going on anyway? I don't know.
Yeah, not when you're 4.
And so she just, now she's, we had our Easter break and hasn't been back to school for a while. And she's been saying, I want to go see my friends. I want to go to school. When can I go back to kindergarten, So
and unfortunately, you
can't go because it's closed down because of COVID, but whatever.
Unless you're a working parent and you work outside the home, you can request for emergency school care and the kindergartens will provide that. So that's really good for working families. I technically am a working parent. My blog is my profession, but I'm able to do that and keep the kids at home, and that just works better for us to keep them here. So
when we first got here, we made an appointment with the school administration, and we went and met with the principal, and really great interaction.
Very positive
very
experience.
Very nice. And so then each of the kids, the teachers for their grades took them out to a different room and sort of asked them some questions and tested them on some things to see where they were at, just to see how much German they knew and which grade they should get math skills and which grade they should get put in, and
like a placement test basically.
So we ended up with the kids in 2nd, 4th, and 5th grades.
Which is what they were in when
we were in Georgia, so
that stayed the same.
Yeah, so it was no big change.
Yeah, and what they told us was that you have smart kids, your kids are all smart, but they don't know near enough German. They need to know more German, and we were like, yes, we know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why we're here, so we can learn more German.
Right.
So thankfully in the school there is English as a second language programs. They do get refugees sent even to small towns. Germany spreads them out throughout the country.
So a couple times a week they have a lesson with German as a second language.
Yeah, which is just a little bit It's not like enough that's made a huge difference in their language skills, except for our 5th grade son. His teacher has a 1-hour German lesson every single day via Microsoft Teams, which is like Zoom, a video call with him to teach him German.
Yeah.
And that has been awesome.
Yeah,
his German has gotten a lot better with that.
Yeah, and just the teacher's done a great job of organizing it in a way that helped him build confidence. Yeah, and it was fun.
His teacher is fantastic.
Yeah, really good. So, the hats off to him. That teacher's done a great job getting him.
And he's even made 2 house calls.
Yeah, right. He comes by.
I was like, what is this, 1950? Like, it was the cutest thing.
Yeah.
He's come by twice. He's like, I was just in the neighborhood and I thought I'd come by and see how Gabriel's doing. And he says it all in German, but it's just so cute.
Yeah, really
so
nice.
Our 5th grader's teacher has just been very supportive, and Gabriel is learning German very quickly and doing very well. And then our 4th grader, we found out, 4th grade is the crucial year here in Germany. I know you Germans know this, so this is for non-German people. But Germans, fill us in the comments below on the 3 tracks. Okay, so 4th grade in Germany feeds into 3 tracks. There's Mittelschule, there's Realschule, and then there's Gymnasium.
Right.
And like Gymnasium is for people who are definitely going to college, it's the college prep track. And then Realschule is sort of a mixture of both. You can be doing college, you can also go and get a trade. And then we're not quite sure about Mittelschule. Is it just trade? And we've heard you can go between the 3 tracks.
Yeah, there are some ways to pass between them. I guess the Realschule really technically isn't preparing you for college, or maybe for technical school or something. I'm not sure. But there, depending on how you go, there's different ways you can pass back and forth. And that we're still trying to figure out exactly how that's going to work.
Yeah.
Right now the 5th grader is in Mittelschule partly because
of his German skills.
Well, it's because of his German skills, but also there is no Realschule or Gymnasium in our town. So at least to begin with, he can start and go to the same school, the Mittelschule and the Grundschule, the elementary school, the Grundschule and the Mittelschule are in the same place. So all 3 kids can go to the same place for now until we can get Gabriel's German skills up, and then presumably move him into Gymnasium. And we're not sure if that's going to happen this coming year, or it's we're still trying to figure it all out. And
the 3 tracks are intimidating.
Yeah.
I mean, they are. Let's just say it, they're intimidating. And Germans, are they intimidating for you also? Are you also freaking out when your kid is in 4th class, vierte class, or you're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen?
I mean, and the 4th grade, it's definitely more intense. The amount of work that the 4th graders getting is much more than I mean, certainly 2nd grade. 2nd grade still sort of getting your feet under you in school, but compared to our 5th grader, I mean, he still has a lot of work and he's busy, but it doesn't seem to be the same pressure. So our 4th grade teacher is working very hard trying to get Grayson up to speed as fast as possible. And in some ways it's paying off because he is doing a really good job in terms of speaking German and feeling like he knows what's going on. So
yes, and so we saw that it was really it's been a struggle for him, and it's been hard, and it was hard for us, and we realized finally it just clicked one day. It's like, let's hire a tutor. Let's hire someone to help him do his German grammatical work, the German grammar work, because it's
and even all
so
the math,
difficult even for us to do.
Even the math problems are set up in a different way. They use different methods on stuff.
Yes.
And so having somebody that knows the system and can show him has been really helpful.
And so one of my friends said, hey, go to Betreut, I think that's how you pronounce it, BETREUT.de, and it's like a job site where you can go find house cleaners and someone to mow your lawn. You can find a nanny, you can find all kinds of stuff to do things around your house. And so I found a tutor on there. She was the first person I reached out to. I've not had to find anybody else because she has been fantastic.
Really
she's
helpful.
a lady she's from Hungary, but she moved here when she was 7 years old, so she's been in Germany a very long time. She's in her 50s now, and she's an excellent teacher. She's really able to break down the grammar for Grayson to understand. And getting her to help him has been the best thing we have done as far as school goes here. I'm so glad we hired a tutor. She has taken so much of the pressure off and stress off, especially for me.
Speaking of the stress, it's so hard to just know. Even if it wasn't COVID, there's all sorts of COVID stuff. We'll get to that. But even if it's not COVID, just knowing what to do. I mean, we didn't have lists of like the school supplies were, and then I did get that from the teachers, then trying to understand, and they needed this fountain pen, this really cool
They have
sort of
different school supplies
old-fashioned fountain pen, and getting all their school supplies, but then like they have to have these the house shoes that they wear at school. And
kids wear house shoes, Americans.
And so
they don't wear their shoes to school.
No.
I mean, they walk to it there.
Right.
Take them off.
Take them off and put their house shoes on.
Yeah.
And like, that was like a thing. And like, we didn't have them on like the first day for sure, because it was we didn't even know anything about it. And like, then the second day, like, well, where's your house shoes? I'm like, well, it's COVID. I can't buy house shoes.
The teachers are like messaging.
Where are your house shoes? And,
Why did your kids have house shoes? Oh, we didn't know you're supposed to have house shoes. Sorry.
And
so that was a culture shock.
Right.
You want a culture shock video? There's your culture shock video.
And then,
house shoe.
Sometimes they have gym class. It hasn't happened, because they've been going sometimes every other day. Right now, it's only the 4th grader that's going every day. But anyway, they don't go every day for what the things happen. And so then there's gym class sometimes, and they have to have their sneakers with them, and there's some sort of sport bag that they're supposed to have, and I still don't even understand.
Don't even know what those
still
are.
don't even know what that is. So, and then then they have recess outside, and they go play outside, and it was snowing. And we didn't send them with their snow boots and snow clothes.
And one of our sons, Grayson, so he did recess outside in the snow, and he got wet. And then spent the rest of the day at school cold and wet. And when we came to pick him up, he's like, Mom, I'm cold. I was like, oh no. So obviously that was a great way to learn our lesson.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. I guess these things are just like common knowledge, because like
and they don't think to tell you because it's common knowledge.
And so there's nowhere you can go to like read about what this stuff is. I haven't found it at least. And but then with COVID too, it was hard enough for me when we were in America. It was hard with the COVID homeschooling, because
that was hard.
Every teacher has a different way. Do you need to communicate with them through WhatsApp or through email, or there's this school manager website? Am I supposed to send a message through there? And then they got Microsoft Teams, and each teacher does things differently, and it's like my head's exploding trying to keep up with which ones have meetings at 9 o'clock in the morning, and trying to get enough devices for it all to work. And it's pretty crazy.
And when you've sent messages to the teachers, you messaged, like one of the teachers had sent you a text message, you text messaged her back and then did it again a few days later, and then she kind of fussed at you and said, don't send me messages through here anymore, send them through the Schule manager. And Kevin's like, oh, sorry.
I just don't know what to do.
I think it's cultural differences that we just are clueless on. And
so we're trying our best. Anytime we make a mistake, I just apologize and say, I'm so sorry.
We're trying.
And then like, the 2nd grader, he's supposed to because they're not in school now, because the 7-day incidence is high enough that he's not in school at all. And so was supposed to go on Saturday evening to go pick up his packet of work to do.
Yeah.
And somehow I missed it. I don't know. There probably was a message somewhere and I just missed it. And so, one of his classmates came knocking on the door and said, here's Griffin's stuff. And I'm like, I didn't even know I was supposed to go get it.
And the teacher's like, where's Griffin's work? I need to see the work he did before Easter.
Because I hadn't handed it in because I missed going to that thing. So, but you just gotta laugh at it. You gotta laugh at it and apologize and try and do better the next time. But it's just a lot of stuff to organize.
Yeah, we're majorly stumbling along, but we've learned a lot in the process. We're all getting better with German because of communicating with the teachers and going through with them with their homework and helping them do their homework.
We learned by having to do their homework with them.
We learned by helping them. So I kind of enjoy helping them with their homework when it isn't like so hard that I can't even begin to understand it.
I mean, there's sometimes you
Some
just
of
read
it.
it.
Is that way.
You read it and you don't even know what to do. I mean, I'm an engineer. I spent my whole...
Kevin has a PhD.
I've been doing my whole life doing math, and so, there's times when the sheets and the math, and it's like, I really have no idea what you're supposed to do. And I think it's sort of like the teacher maybe goes over it, and it's sort of like a standard thing, and all the kids have done these things so many times throughout their schooling that it's just sort of second nature. And I'm like, I don't know, there's 3 different blocks, and we're supposed to add those numbers to get that one. I'm not sure, I just sort of guess. Sometimes there's examples, sometimes there's not. So, I don't know, it's definitely
a giant learning curve for all of us.
Yeah.
It has not been easy. So one of the last differences is that they walk or ride their bikes to school, which is really nice because Kevin and I get our exercise like we talk about in every video,
Yeah.
I know. But we love that we can get our exercise walking them to school.
Yeah, although now we've met enough of the neighbors and they're talking about, once it does start up where they go regularly to school, that we're going to have like a little group of the kids and get all the kids and they'll go together up.
Yeah.
So at some point we may not be walking back and forth to school because they'll be doing it themselves with their buddies and that'd be really cool.
Yeah, they've got friends now they can go to school with. And so, our experience with school just hasn't been, what we thought it would be yet because COVID has really made it quite complicated. But it's like that for everyone in many parts of the world right now. So poor us, not really. Everyone's dealing with this right now. So we just got to power through it and it'll get better.
Yeah, I don't know. In some ways, maybe it's good for the kids to have a little bit softer start. I don't know. Because the first days when they went, it's just like
they were exhausted when
they come
got
home and just wiped out, But then once the days and they get the routine of the days. Well, heck, the days are different every day, and like that was one of the other funny things is they let out of school on different times on different days of the week. And so, so the first day they told me, say, your kid, gets out at 12:15, on the first day. So he says, come and get him at 12:15, very clear direction. And, and so then the next time he went to school, I went to go pick him up at 12:15 and they're still in class. And it's like the bell rang and I'm like, the teacher's like keeping them after school. So they do something wrong. They need to stay after school. So I keep waiting, looking at my clock. Why? It's 12:15. They told me. And so then finally I went and talked to the secretary in the school and like, no. There's a different schedule. Didn't you get the schedule? No, I had no idea. And so as it turns out, all three of the kids, they have different times that they get out of school. And it can be different on different days of the week. And so it's like I could have, sometimes I was having to go 3 different times, 3 different hours to go pick up the kids from school. So it was just funny.
Yeah, because that was back when I was taking Ella to kindergarten.
Right.
And in kindergarten here, they let you stay with your child as long as they need it. And for Ella, that was like
been a long
2
time.
weeks.
Yeah, she's still needing it, probably.
Yeah, she'll probably still need it when we go back.
Yeah.
Because everything's in German and it's so overwhelming to her. And she did do preschool back before we moved here, so she has had experience with school, but the German thing is throwing her off.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was taking Ella to school and I was staying with her in kindergarten, and so Kevin was having to go back and forth to the school 3 times every day.
Trying to work that around whatever meetings I had for work and all.
So when the lockdowns happened, it was actually helpful. And the kids weren't as exhausted because they weren't having to go to school every day and hear German every day. Yeah. So in a way, COVID has helped because they've been able to slowly ease into life in school. And they've been able to make more friends in the neighborhood and make more friends at the playground. So now when they go to school, they're starting to see those same faces, and that's going to help them feel more comfortable. Yeah.
There is one last tidbit. It's really curious, interesting difference is that there's a part, one of their lessons, one or 2 times a week, they actually have a religion lesson.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I didn't know what he was going to say.
Surprise. And it was really interesting. And so they have 3 choices. They can do Catholic, Protestant, or an ethics. So if you're not religious, they do an ethics lesson. So that was really interesting that that there is actually religion taught in the school if you want, or if you don't, then you follow the ethics track, which is really curious.
Yeah, like in the U.S., there's this big separation of church and state. So in the schools, they will teach a religions class where all of the religions, or I don't know if all of them are covered, but all the major religions of the world are covered in those kind of classes. Maybe, if you're getting a degree, a college degree in religion, you'd have the separated religions, I'm sure. But yeah, we've never experienced that before in the U.S. So it definitely was very interesting. Like,
And what was cool is like we asked our kids what they wanted to follow, and we're not Catholic, but one of my sons wanted to follow the Catholic class because around here it's predominantly Catholic, and so he wanted to know, because we go to the church and you see all of the paintings on the sides of buildings and stuff, and so he wanted to learn about Catholic religion just because he wanted to know more about what was around here. I thought that was really cool, and I gave him those choices and explained the 3 different things and how we could do it, and he's like, I want to do the Catholic one. I want to learn more about what the people around here believe and what they think. So I thought that was a really cool choice that he made.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, so that's basically it, guys. Hope you were satisfied with our school update. It has definitely been a wild ride.
Yeah, it still is.
It still is. It's something that's definitely kept me up on some nights. It has caused me a lot of stress. Kevin has worked really hard through all of it.
And you want the kids to be happy and have a good experience, and if they're feeling good and confident and happy at school, that's going to bleed into all the life that they're going to have here, and we want them to enjoy it. So it's important that it go as smoothly as possible.
And yeah, as a mom, I was also afraid that the kids would be brand new in their classrooms, and they would be the brand new foreigners who don't speak German. And I thought, are they going to get made fun of? Are they going to get bullied or teased? And so I was really worried about that at first. Thankfully, as far as we know, there's been no issues with that. And the teachers have been welcoming, and I think they've set the correct tone for the classroom. And so,
at least they can be stars during English lessons.
Yeah, they love English class. That's the easiest class of the day. So that's been great. But I mean, thankfully, we're lucky because a lot of the kids, like especially at Ella's school, they told their class before we arrived that we have a new friend coming from America, and they all thought that was so cool, and they treated her like a celebrity. So that worked in our advantage. I know that's not the same for everyone, and I hate that. Yeah, that's made it maybe a little easier. All right, so thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for your likes and your comments and your subscriptions, and we hope that you'll continue to come back watching more of our videos. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so you can get notified when we have a new video out, and you can hear more about our adventures as Americans in Germany.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a great day.
Enjoyed the time with you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And we are, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I have no idea. Oh gosh, Grayson. That was not us.